Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started. I'm not drinking alcohol today.
Well,
This is water.
I
It's water
I would
bottle.
kind of prefer it. I think you would be a heck of a more talkative person.
Oh, yes, I would be. I don't drink for a reason.
It's good for you. It makes you look like Frank Sinatra.
All right, did you get the YouTube link for the people so that they'll know?
I
it's
did.
you? Wow,
I
that's quick.
literally, as you were saying that, it refreshed on my screen, so I was able to click it right away. So now, let me get out of this one, and I will put it in here. Control V,
Yeah, I might as well just
and
announce it
we
on my
will
Twitter.
copy.
I have a mention in announcements.
And
Oh, I must be part of everyone. Okay, publish. There we go. All right, there is our Faz Radio link.
do you see the second one? Do you see my latest announcement? It said, "Uh-oh, something went wrong."
No, I don't see that. I bet people are going to start showing up, though. I bet they see us. I bet they can hear us. Say something, people. Type something in chat. Oh, I must be part of everyone. Okay. Publish. There we go.
All right, hang on.
We're live.
Control
I can hear
V.
me.
No, I know we're live, but what I'm saying is the announcement didn't go out.
Yeah, it did. You're going to make it go out a second time, though, if you do that, which you just did.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, it popped up on Discord and it said, "Oops, something went wrong."
I'm deleting.
And then delete that one.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about Townstar and stuff. So
Townstar.
Townstar changed a
Oh
lot.
my.
Yes, we've been doing a lot more Gala recently, probably because crypto is taking a major shit, and maybe we just want to talk about something a bit more, a bit better at the moment.
Well, you know what? So, the whole market is in a state right now where everybody's just upside down. They don't know what to do, so nothing is happening. It's like that meme where you take the stick and poke at it, and it's like, do something. Everybody's afraid to sell, and everybody's afraid to buy, so nobody's doing anything. So at least what I see.
Yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense. I'm not buying and selling because I don't have any money. So,
Well, and besides that, I mean, because nobody's doing anything, there hasn't been a lot of exciting news. There's a couple things that Faz and I talked about in the green room before the show that we'll bring up, but it's nothing major, but it's stuff to keep an eye on, I think. So the Gala heavy stuff lately, there's a lot more going on in Gala than the rest of the crypto market, it seems. So that's kind of why I think we've been doing that.
Gala's taken this opportunity to say a lot of things. They're like, hey, market's down, people are bored. Let's get people to buy things. Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, speaking of, in 3 minutes, do you have your finger on your Fuzzle buy button?
Nope. I don't touch my fuzzle. I don't have a fuzzle to touch.
What is it about Fuzzles you don't like?
I don't like their voice. They're a neat idea. I think it's a neat idea. Hey, yeah, I think they could be a bit more further developed, but that's okay. Other people tend to. I didn't like Bored Apes when they started, so look where that got me.
Right? So you and I argued a little bit last night about this Townstar stuff. What are your thoughts on the changes?
Townstar?
Yeah.
It worked for me. I don't see any problem with it. Oh yes, that's right. People, and they shall remain nameless, are complaining a lot about the fact that everybody's now getting about 41% less town for their daily distribution. And apparently it's on the sliding scale too, so the less town you make, the more of it you keep. At least that's what Code says anyway. If everybody's getting less, well, and I'm getting less and everybody else is getting less too, then okay, that's fine. It's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. So my argument isn't that things got cut. Okay, that's all fine and good. I have two major problems though. The first problem is it isn't stopping the introduction of new tokens into the ecosystem. It's simply slowing it down. My problem is they should have put the burn mechanisms in first and then implemented a gradual tapering of the distribution on these tokens.
Why does it need to happen
the reason it, well, because it isn't going to affect the price. The problem is that there's too much supply, right? There's a ton of tokens out. Nobody can do anything with them. So they're all just sitting out there with no utility. Slowing down the distribution of tokens, but not stopping it, does not solve the problem. So the token price is not going to improve with that. You have to have a reason to spend and or burn Gala in order for that supply to start shrinking and the price to go up. Also, people have to be buying things with it. Give it a utility. That's what's going to make price go up. So
you just said it there. You just said it right there.
Right.
That will make price go up. And there's an assumption there that you have, and that's why you want it that way. Gala Games doesn't have that same assumption.
Right. So you had a great point on that last night. What is that point?
I don't know. You tell me what my awesome point is. I'd like you to give me credit where credit's due. I don't want to steal your thunder here.
No, there's no thunder. So who's the benefactor of doing it this way versus introducing the burn mechanisms first?
I caught that Freudian slip you just made there. Who's the benefactor?
No, that was wait, what do you call that?
Very creative.
I wouldn't call
creativity.
Well, I wouldn't call it a Freudian slip.
Okay.
It was a pun. Pun, that's it.
Uh-huh. Anyway, okay. To me, personally, and I'm not an economist, and you're not one either, so I say treat both of our opinions as the bullshit that they are. To me, it doesn't matter which one they do first, whether they do a burn mechanism, which they're planning to do with Townstar, or whether they have the amount of town going out. Ideally, well, not ideally, but really, if you have the amount of town going out, you're increasing the scarcity, or decreasing the amount that's going out. So right now, you know, the price has gone up a teeny tiny bit since they announced this. Okay, sure. Had they not announced this, I think the price would be a similar level. Good. It hasn't affected the price that much that they decided to make it more scarce. Yet people are bitching a lot more. They also took NFTs out of the store, which I think what they're really looking to do is waiting to see what Town does and then readjust to whatever Town readjusts to. If Town were to go up to $1, then they would price to that, I think. They've mentioned before how they're pricing to what's on the secondary market, which I think is a really, really bad idea. Well, it's a bad idea if you don't want it to be considered a security.
Well, they did that with the Vox too, and I thought that was a bad idea to put that information out. So I don't even know where to begin here. You mentioned it there, in your what you just said that they're reducing supply by cutting the tokens. They're not. They are still adding to the supply, just not at a
They're
bigger
reducing
rate.
what it would have been.
They're not reducing anything. There are still tokens going out with nothing being burned or spent or used for utility.
Oh, town's being spent, I'm sure, somewhere, somehow.
On what? On what? There's no NFTs to buy. What are
I
they
know.
spending it on?
That's actually a good point. Maybe they
So-
want you to build up some towns so that you can buy the NFTs at the new price that they set them at.
Right. So here's the way I see it. And again, I'm just basic common sense, right? So if you want a perfect mix, all right, for both the community and for Gala Games, this is a win-win, which is what we want, right? We as the community want a win-win. We don't want it tilted towards Gala. We'd love to have it tilted towards us, but in reality, that's just not going to happen, right? So to make it a fair, what I'll call a fair win-win, I would have done it the opposite way. So I would have waited and introduced the gems and introduced the other burn mechanisms within the game where you can use your town, where the coming soon box is, where you can do things with your town.
Mm-hmm.
Let people start to play with that and start reducing that supply through the burn, right? And I would say give that about 30 days. And then I would have come out and said, we're reintroducing NFTs coming soon. Now, by leaving the token supply coming out like a fire hose under the old plan instead of these points by just paying out the Town Star, you would have given people more tokens to play with when these NFTs came out. You price the NFTs in the traditional Gala method with the tiers, right? You have brand new NFTs that have way cooler utility, that are more reasonably priced, so that a lot of people can afford them. You don't have to have the large payouts that, as Bitbender says, Season 1 NFTs had, right? You have a lower cost with a lower payout on those, and you price them in, or set them so that they're priced in town points so that the people know what they're going to get. We're going to switch, once these NFTs go live, we're going to be switching to town points. People now have a heads up on that. They can see what town points they're going to get for those NFTs, right? So then you introduce those, you let people start buying those. After people start buying those, you start going into the second pricing tier, the third pricing tier. Then you announce to the community the plan for the dip with town points, and you explain it way better than you did the way they did it this time, where they just dropped a complicated, confusing paragraph of wall of text with some stupid graph that doesn't have real numbers on it, right? It just has this sloop down like you wouldn't believe, going to nothing, basically. And you explain it and you say, here's how this is going to work. The first, whether you did 2-week increments like they're doing for this May Mayhem, or whether you do it per the month, and you say, here's the deal. The first month, we're going to ramp this down. You're going to earn about 10% less, 20% less. The second month, 30% less. It gives people time to prepare. And that also creates the wonderful Gala FOMO that they have, because they know, and you reiterate to the people, the tiers of NFT pricing is going to be going up, and you're going to be losing town coins. So with the distribution, so you're going to want to load up on these NFTs over the next 3 or 4 months before these final changes come in. So that's how I would have done it, and I think that would have sat way better with the community, and I think that would have given a win for Gala. They'd have sold more NFTs and provided the community with a better ramp and a better set of changes.
So, don't you think that they're going to be doing the NFTs differently? I thought that they had said that they were going to be doing them different than the way they had before.
I heard about that, but I don't know details. Everything gets lost in a sea of too many messages.
So this is why I tend to judge after I see what people are doing. I don't know the full plan, but I do remember them saying that they're going to be changing things. And usually what happens when people start extrapolating, like what I just heard you do now, invariably they say something like, well, actually, we're not doing it that way. He isn't privy to all of our plans. We're planning to plug this in, to do it this way, and do this and do that. Personally, I personally don't care when they put the stuff out. They need to have the town. Everybody's complaining all over the place. Oh my God, they're just printing up town all over the place, and all these people are getting so much town. You know, they shouldn't be putting out as much. They don't put out as much. Now people are like, you know, why'd you have to just, you know, why aren't you doing this thing too? I mean, it's like as soon as one complaint gets addressed, another complaint comes up. It's like they're all in line. And so I see a very specific order that needs to be done here. And I really get the sense that they're just getting things done as quickly as they're getting things done. I'm starting to see a pattern with Gala Games and Eric Schreiermeyer, and that as soon as they get something done, they serve it up. Here you go. Let's just get it out there. What you're suggesting is that they perhaps strategically hold some things back and put them out in a certain way. Unfortunately, you're not really privy to everything that they're doing. So I don't... Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, what you're saying sounds pretty good. That is, if they keep the same NFT earning mechanism, that they treat NFTs the same way. What if they want to revalue the NFTs? Right now, because those lower end NFTs, like the basketball courts and stuff like that, things that are like 3 or 4 town coin a piece, those suck. I would, if you know, all the NFTs give you a lot more than that, I would think that they would really want to have lower producing NFTs. So it would make sense for them to come out with a whole slew of lower producing NFTs. You know, like
that's what I suggested.
Like well, then maybe I'm just saying it different. I'm saying the same thing but different, because they have that little water thingamabobber, which gives you what, 2 town a day or 3 town a day. It doesn't do a lot, and I think you have to keep refilling it or something. But I bet that they're going to come out with lower end NFTs to make it so that everybody can build their way up. It's obvious that there's a steep cliff between people who don't have NFTs and people who have NFTs. If you have an NFT, it's because you paid thousands of dollars to get one, period. So how are you going to address the people in the middle?
Right. And it's going back to the basic of where I started on my rant. It has to be, in my opinion, it has to be a win-win. Okay, Gala needs to make money, right? That's what they're here for. They're not here to provide entertainment. They're here to make money. And we're here for the same reason, but also to have fun. You got to make it a win-win on both sides. And so far, the NFTs for pretty much every game they've put out so far is a huge win for Gala and a minor win for the community. And that's where I stand on my soapbox, and it's got to be balanced a little more. They talk about balance in the games. It's got to be balanced in equity for both sides. Because, again, that's why we're here. We would go play other games if it wasn't for the NFTs and the earning capabilities. So they got to make it worthwhile for people to buy into this ecosystem.
I think they will.
Hey, retention is number one, right? They've got to keep people in the ecosystem once they get here.
Well,
if they have 20,000 people that dump in this month with all these referrals, they all get here, they play for May Mayhem, and then they go away. Gala does not benefit from that. they've got to make it more attractive to the players.
So you're leaving something out when you say retention. There's a bunch of NFTs out there in the market right now, and they have a price. Anybody who has a Townstar NFT right now is using it, or most people that have them are using it. When you say retention is a big deal, well, those people then have to leave. And when they leave, they would then sell their NFTs. To who? They'd sell them to somebody else who's using it. So really, it's when you're talking about retention, somebody's going to be making that money. Could it be that
they need those players to be retained, Faz?
I'm sure that there will be, like I just said, who's going to be using those NFTs that they purchase? When you sell, if you decide you want to get out today, which I've been waiting for you to say that you're going to sell your NFTs and get out, you're going to be selling them to somebody else who would need to play the game in order to use it. So you're not a person, if you have an NFT, you're not somebody that they need to worry about losing, because they're not going to lose whoever has your NFT. They're going to either have you or have somebody else who bought the NFT from you. What you're really saying is they need more people, which I think is fair. They need to get more people, and it's very obvious now that they have this whole, we're going to give away an NFT if you get us 10 people. That I find a little bit annoying, but I mean, it's just kind of, I guess you kind of have to do that. I mean, even your hamburger place will put out coupons and try to find ways to bring more people to the hamburger place.
Well, but once they onboard somebody, they need to keep them in the ecosystem. That's what I mean by retention.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be easier once they have 3, 4, 5 games that are active to play. It'll get easier. I have no doubt about that. But then that opens up the can of worms of what do they have out, right? So I played Spider Tanks for the first time yesterday. It was a lot more fun than I thought it would be, but I'm terrible at shooters, so I got my ass handed to me, of course.
Well, you told me, hey, I won the first time I played, so I thought you.
No, my team won, and I only got killed 6 times, and I actually got 2 kills. So I was pretty pretty excited. But then when we went in there, boy, did I got beat up. That one dude killed me like 8 times.
By the way,
he was hunting me down.
I have a Faz Spider Tank guild for those who would like to join. Why? Because I have a map, actually, and I need to get good enough to where I can win to put out that map, and so I can make the map better. But I need some more people in the guild, so I've roped in Titan and one other person. There's actually more people that are technically part of my guild due to, from the Hit Factor EOE website, but none of them seem to be playing Spider Tanks. So if any of you want to come over to the Faz side, it'd be great. I play at least once a day.
The platform. Okay, so I said this last night, and I'll have the guts to say it on Faz Radio. Or I said it today, actually, this afternoon.
Oh, was I right about something?
No. Well, you are right about a lot of things. I give you props when you hand me my ass back. I do. The way that I'm seeing things here right now, it seems like it's amateur hour over at Gala. There's too much that is just going wrong. And we talk about when things go sideways, they're new, this is cutting edge, and da-da-da. We've given them passes on, I don't think one Miranda's Fox drop has gone off without a hitch. Something going sideways. They go into Mayhem, Townstar's a mess. The rollback, the Ledger of Truth, now that's going to be delayed and brought back. Everything is just a disaster.
Oh, sky is falling. We're all going to die.
Listen.
Sorry.
Okay.
Shh.
Listen. So at this stage of the game, they should not be having this many problems. They shouldn't. And
Those are
it's
not
not
their
about
problems.
it's not about the sky falling. It's about they want to be treated as a professional company, but they're not doing things in a professional manner. And now I just read today that because of this ledger of truth, they're going to manually go through logs after the competition to look for people who are cheating. Do you know how long it's going to take them to do that and how long people are going to have to wait for payouts? And okay, so there's that. And I've complained when these drops have gone sideways and it takes them months to quote make up to people. I watched the other night our guest from last week, Lycan Warlord. He just had a cast out on YouTube, I want to say yesterday. And I watched that, and he went over Bitbender answering his questions. And he made a really good point, because one of the questions they submitted to him, to Bitbender, was, hey, the people who were kind enough to return those extra Vox boxes, are they going to be rewarded? And Bitbender's answer was, boy, I hope they do get something. And so Lycan mentioned, if that was me, I would have done it immediately. So now we're the people who did the right thing and returned those boxes haven't even gotten a whiff of anything. Now the ledger of truth is broken, and it's going to be forever and a day before people get payouts from this mayhem. Townstar keeps breaking with this, that, and the other. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess.
I think that's par for the course. I have a real problem when people who aren't doing what they're doing for a living, people who aren't doing gaming for a living, and I'm going to defend gaming companies in general, start giving gaming companies a hard time like that. If you haven't done it, you kind of don't know. I've worked as a software developer in a number of companies, and I've seen a lot of products get launched and a lot of websites have issues. And it happens to the best of them. It happens to big companies and small companies. And Gala, I think people would still agree that Gala is still starting out. They're still trying to get their products off the ground. They have one product in beta, or two products if we include spider tanks. They have two products in beta. When you say, this shouldn't be happening anymore, these guys are so professional, I really feel like you're building up a straw man only so you can beat him back down again. These guys have just started in a brand new industry. They're doing something that a lot of other companies aren't doing. They're pioneers in a way, and well, not in a way. They actually are pioneers. And all of a sudden, you have extremely high expectations. Good. I like the fact that you have high expectations, but I don't think that it's fair to give them to start stacking all this stuff and saying, oh my God, Townstar has this one problem. This has this one problem. That has this one problem. Well, the reality is Townstar works. People are getting their money day by day, and they're improving things day by day. Yeah, things aren't happening as fast as you like, or in the way that you like, or the speed that you like, but they're happening. And they're also scaling up, because last year at this time, didn't they have a whole lot less employees? Scaling up a company is hard. So yeah, you totally have a point. They could be doing things a lot better, but I've seen far worse. And they have promised, even before that interview with Lycan, that they were planning to reimburse the people who had who returned the boxes. Yeah, they boned things up. They screwed it up there, but they're still just starting out. I don't know if I'm the best person to judge in my case. because they're doing really hard work. I haven't even worked at a gaming company before. I've worked at a web development company. I could certainly see them doing better, but I know what happens behind the scenes, and the sausage looks ugly. Every single software development company out there is barely holding their shit together. And I can tell you one thing, they don't all come back and reimburse people and remedy people and stuff like that. They do with it whatever they could get away with. It seems to me that Gala is like any other normal company. They have things that suck and things that don't. And right now it seems that people seem to be compensated a whole heck of a lot, and sometimes they aren't. I give them a C. If not an A, not a B, not a D, I'd give them a C. So I'm not going to call this a full-throated defense, but I don't think it's fair to give them a full-throated body slam either.
Well, tell me then, or not me, tell Faz Radio listeners, what's going right?
I'm earning town every single day. I'm playing, I'm seeing them produce, I see them adding products every single day. I see Echoes of Empire, for example, does a new screenshot literally every single day. They're constantly engaging the community with one product or another. They're pretty much doing what Gala Games said that they were going to do, which is they're going to be kind of an aggregator and get all these companies on board. People forget that games take years upon years to develop. Any game that you're playing right now, any game that's come out this year, has been in development for at least the previous 5 years. So any game, like you just go buy it off of Steam right now, a brand new game. It's been developed for at least 5 years, probably 7 years. So it's par for the course for a gaming company. I think they're doing what a gaming company does. Worst case scenario, I'd say maybe they just should have shut up for a lot longer. Maybe they shouldn't have come on board so quickly. And like I said, they seem to have this thing where as soon as they get something done, they put it out there. And sometimes it seems a bit kind of, it's like, where's the rhyme or reason for it? I think that they want to keep generating news, personally. They want to show you that something's happening. So that's what I see as right, is Gala is never not talking to people.
Okay.
As far as their messaging, that could be a whole lot better. That's my only complaint about them, is how they do their messaging. But they're just going to have to suffer through that.
Montgomery commented the competition is going pretty well. So anybody else have comments? The competition going well, what does that mean exactly?
You might mean the Townstar competition.
Yeah. Changes are pretty good now, he said. So I'm a fan of Gala. I'm not a fan of how they're doing things, though. And their messaging, yes, that's been an ongoing thing for the last year.
Okay, so how about you make a comparison to another video game company that you're following, or any other company that you're following. How are those other companies putting out their products? How do you feel about how they're putting out their products?
The products are coming out slow, but when they're out, they're right.
Give me an example of a company so we can get an idea. Because when I hear, what's that?
Flexa.
What's Flexa?
With their AMP product.
No,
AMP.
I'd prefer a game company, like standard game company. Or like, do you have Modern Warfare? Do you play any video games at all? Didn't you say you play Team Fortress?
I don't. I'm not a gamer, but what I will say is I did that update on Myst not too long ago, and their progress is very slow, but there's not glitches, there's not problems, there's not people buying things and sitting on NFTs for years on end. When they release the things that they're selling, there's nothing going sideways. People are getting what they pay for.
Who's doing this again?
Myst.
So Myst has NFTs right now that they're releasing that you can play in game right now?
There's no playable game yet. They're not ready to release it.
Wait a minute. Didn't you just say that they're releasing NFTs right now?
Yes,
And
that's correct.
And that people aren't sitting on them?
Q3 is when they're planning on coming out with it, with a playable test.
Okay, so it hasn't happened yet. Right now, they have released NFTs and people are sitting on them, which is the opposite of what you just asserted. Just making this clear.
No, I said sit on them for years. How long have you been sitting on your Miranda stuff?
Oh, it has to be for years now. Okay. Well, so you're comparing a promise to what somebody made to which this seems like an apple and an orange, because they never said that Mirandus was going to be out right away. They said it was going to take a while, and they haven't given a date. So you're given a promise that they're going to have something out in a couple months for a different kind of game. I just want to compare apples to apples here. You do have a point that, I bet they certainly mean well. Gala has made a lot of promises that they get things out too. So I would say the proof's in the pudding. If these Mist people get that thing out the door in a couple months, then you could say, hey, look at them. Look at what they're actually getting done. But I could come back with saying, well, Townstar, they put out the game, they promised NFTs, people did not sit on those NFTs for years, and then now you can use them. There you go. Now, they happen to have a lot of other games in development, like Mirandus and Vox. That's just Gala Games. Then they have some other people, the Spider Tanks people and so on. Spider Tanks is getting more and more better every single day. It was going to be out with Gala Chain, and now they've changed it and said, okay, well, we'll just use Ethereum. So I don't see it being as negative as you're making it sound. Gala Games is doing the thing that you just compared Myst with.
No, because Gala Games did not release Spider Tanks. That game is, so far, very, very good, and there are very minor glitches. Let's compare Spider Tanks to Townstar.
Well, Townstar was the first one that came. Remember, whenever you make a first anything when you're doing software, the first time you're doing anything, you have to develop all the things for the first time, which means you need to make it from scratch. Making things from scratch takes a long time. Spider Tanks at least has the benefit of them doing this once before, and they have lessons learned. They have code that they'd say, we've been using this code for Townstar, and the Spider Tanks people can come along and say, we can improve that code, but we don't need to start it up from scratch. So they have some experience already with what they're doing. Now, I've noticed that Spider Tanks, by the way, is recognizing all my NFTs, and I apparently can only use the items that I have NFTs with. So it's recognizing the NFTs, and I'm getting awarded coins every day. I think they're doing that as a practice because maybe they want to make sure that they can handle the load, or maybe they want to make sure that they can balance their silk coin that's awarded daily. It's a pretty wise thing to do. So I give Spider Tanks a pretty high grade as well.
I do too, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Here we have Spider Tanks, which is so far doing very, very well, developed by somebody besides Gala. And then we have Townstar, and every time they make a change to it or push an update, everything breaks.
The word everything is incorrect. Everything does not break. Some things break.
A lot of things.
Some things break. I've been keeping track because I play Townstar every day. I'm not sure what everything is supposed to be, but it happens that some users might have problems. Are you a user that has problems every day? Are you finding what everythings are breaking on your Townstar? How many of the everythings?
I've been suffering through the same problems except for rollbacks because I don't use scripts.
I thought the rollbacks were for the competition server or something.
I don't know. I don't know if that's just for competition or if that was happening in play to earn also. Not sure. I don't do the competitions. I don't like that.
So it's worth mentioning that Townstar has 5 servers. One of them is for competition. The others are for just regular play to earn stuff. They have. I worked at a cloud company. I've worked at a couple different cloud companies, and availability can be an issue. I've never really had Townstar go down for any appreciable period of time, and when it does, it seems to be happening to everybody. So it's not like they have brownouts. I haven't noticed very many brownouts. Let's see. I see people typing here. Guys, compare Phantom Galaxies with any Gala games and you will find the answer. I don't know enough about Phantom Galaxies. However, I did purchase one of their products, and I played their game for about 5 minutes. I think I paid $20.
Oh, is that a new one?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about that one either.
Yeah, I did. I told you. Yeah, there's basically you go to their OpenSea and you buy like their level NFTs. I think they have like 2 levels or something that you can play. I forget. And then you can play the game. As far as the rest of it goes, I don't know anything about the history, about how well they deliver or how many NFTs they have. Maybe they could OB can speak more to that.
That'd be great. OB, if you can throw in like emerging P2E channel, some info about that. I'm sure the community would love to see it. I know I would.
So Spider Tanks seems to take a slightly different angle than Townstar. What I'd be interested in seeing actually is if you could get away with the same kind of hacks that people got away with Townstar. Meaning, what if I were to be in one account, use a Spider Tank, and then move to another account? Could I still use the same tank? But then again, it may not matter. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how you get your points in Spider Tanks, whether you just played a game or whether you've won so many games. Can people hack it the same way they have Townstar? Does it even matter? Let's see. Montgomery says, I just started today. I'm already climbing the ranks. He'll be at the top 10. Oh, that's for the competition. Galanode Guide says everything doesn't break in Townstar. It's just 1 or 2 big issues that lots of people are running into. Yeah, I can agree with that. Definitely. And OB will just write, so we can talk while he's writing.
Yeah, I mean, I want them to understand that we're all taking this seriously. It'd be the best way to describe it.
You have points with what you're saying, but the language that a lot of people use is the same language that you're using, which is, oh my God, this breaks and this breaks and this breaks and this breaks. It's all fucked. It's all crap. It's like, no, it's not.
It's not.
Just
I've never said that.
It's just kind of, well, I'm doing how it sounds. It sounds like that's why I said sky is falling. It's like, you're like, oh, this is so screwed. Everything's breaking. Well, that gives an impression that they're doing a really, really bad job, when in reality, it's just some things break and not everything. Can't their job just be in the middle?
I don't think they're doing a good job. I think they're doing an okay job, and that's even being generous. Everything that they touch seems to go sideways somewhere. And I think at this stage of the game, that shouldn't be happening anymore.
I think they should move fast and break things, personally. That's a quote from Steve Jobs, isn't it?
Yeah, so moving fast and breaking things is fine, but you can't do that when people are spending thousands of dollars. Break things that don't cost people money, because that's what you're basing your marketing and your platform on, is earning money for people.
Well, my retort for the thousands of dollars things is, that's such a first world problem. Yes, it sucks that you're losing thousands of dollars a day. Most people aren't. Most people don't spend this much money on a game right now. They must not be the primary audience. And so really you're having a first world problem. I'm sorry that you're not gaining thousands of dollars, but they never promised you thousands of dollars. And you're the one who bought the NFTs for that amount. So, I mean, when it gets down to people are paying $50 to play the game, and they're losing some guaranteed money, money that's guaranteed to come to them, I could see where people have a problem. But this is all crypto. Crypto's all fake money anyway, right?
It's not. And I'm not trying to suggest that Gala owes us anything. What I'm saying is that what they're basing their marketing on and what they're attracting people to this platform for is the earn function. And if they want to make it, and I've said this before, if they want to make it to where you earn buffs and it's about the gameplay and it's about having fun, that's fine. But you have to then price the NFTs appropriately, and you'll attract a different crowd. You'll attract more gamers who are interested in just playing games and earning in-game things like earning gems instead of tokens. Yeah. And that's fine. That's fantastic. Great. But what they're doing in Mayhem, $4 million. They're advertising this everywhere. Earn part of your slice of $4 million. They are advertising that you are going to make money on their platform. And with the changes they made just now to Townstar, they've communicated it so poorly. They integrated it, in my opinion, horribly. That is not winning people over. That is not making people want to spend money in the Gala Games ecosystem.
Long ago, I worked for a legal services company, and something that I thought was a really clever maneuver that they did was we had this flagship software we had to maintain, and everybody was using it. Whenever we put out a new version, we put out as quickly as possible, and that way we could make as much money as possible. And of course, the software wasn't perfect, and so we had to talk the users through certain things. But that's okay. Everybody was making money. They were fine with it. But then the boss had the beta version, and people paid. They put out the beta version, and people would pay more to get access to the beta version because the beta version had new features that the other people couldn't get to. I see a lot of that with crypto and gaming in crypto right now. We're playing a beta version of Townstar. Your grandma is not the person that they're advertising to right now. Their advertising isn't even structured so that it's going to your grandma right now. It's structured like, woohoo! Look at this party! That's how it's structured. I mean, look at their over-the-top parties that they have with Snoop Dogg and Maroon 5 and all that stuff. They want the big spenders. They're catering to big spenders. They're getting big spenders. So that's who's spending all the money. And you're like, man, people are spending thousands of dollars. I have a feeling you've spent more than thousands of dollars to get the NFTs if you have an appreciable amount of NFTs. If you have one, I can understand it. But you're also kind of paying more for that beta software. I would really want to hold their nose to the grindstone once they have a commercial on with the Saturday morning cartoons and it's being advertised to your kids, and they start telling people that they could pay their mortgage with this money every month, but they're not. They're not telling people that. They're advertising to the audience of the willing. So that's why I keep calling it a first world problem. I get what you're saying. They definitely have to fix it. You're not wrong, but it's not so bad. Come on.
It's not so bad. You're right. Am I still making money? Yes. But here's the problem. I'm sitting here with what I see and what I experience. And I really want to be a part of this for not only the money aspect, that's primarily why I'm here, but I'm starting to enjoy this whole gaming thing because I've never been a gamer, don't aspire to be a gamer, whatever the case may be. But I enjoy, like, Spider Tanks, we played for 40 minutes last night. I really enjoyed it. I would play again. I'm open to trying out all these games to see if there's something I like. And yes, I want to make money while I'm doing it. That's the premise of why I'm here. Otherwise, I would go and just grab an Xbox and go play games there because there's really cool games I would probably enjoy there. So there has to be that balance. There has to be a reason for me to want to spend money on these games. And right now, I haven't spent money on an NFT in a long time. I haven't spent money in the ecosystem for a long time. And I don't plan to until I see them right the ship.
Okay.
And
That's fair.
maybe that means Spider Tanks continues to do well, and maybe the next game that comes out does well and there's no glitches. When I see, like right now, this fuzzle thing going on, I don't want to fuzzle. I'm not here to buy fuzzles. I'm here to play games, and I want to be able to come into the game that I'm playing, Townstar at the moment, and I'm just learning Spider Tanks, but I want to be able to go into Townstar and not have glitches, not have issues, not have problems. I want to go in, I want to play the game, enjoy it, make some money, and move on. Go play some Spider Tanks. I like hanging with you, and when we talk or when we play Spider Tanks, I had a good time with that. Spend time with friends, yes.
Thank you for the plug for the Faz Guild. You too can have more fun playing Spider Tanks if you join the Faz Guild. We will also give every member of the Faz Guild a free Faz NFT if you play with Faz.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yes, I said if you play with Faz, and no, that's not a Freudian slip. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I want. I want them to slow down, is what I want them to do. And I want them to get it right. I don't care how long it takes. They have billions, okay? If it takes them an extra month to get shit right, take it.
Okay,
One
so that's
extra
a
month
good complaint.
of expenses.
So I'd like to expand on that because it's important to remember what Gala is here. Gala is an aggregator. Their job is to go and make deals with other companies to get those games in. I have certainly noticed a difference in how Townstar is rolled out versus how Spider Tanks is rolling out. And Spider Tanks seems to me to be a lot more polished the first time I've seen it than Townstar. That probably means because whoever develops Spider Tanks, maybe they're a much more established software development company. Great. I think you're going to notice it different for each one. I think it's certainly a good goal that they have a very structured way of putting things out, and I think that, to a certain end, people should grade them by that. But I think right now this is so new because they still only have one game that's out. This is so new that they're not going to kind of catch their stride on that for at least a few games. So I think you're being a little bit premature. I certainly appreciate the sentiment, but I think it's going to take a while. I just did this Townstar survey just yesterday, and one of them was, where do you see Townstar being right now? Or where do you see Gala Games in 1 year? And my answer was, I see Gala Games as consolidating. They're putting out all these games. They need to kind of step back and figure themselves out. So they're getting things done very fast, which, well, in my opinion, they're being done very fast. But I think that they're going to start tripping over themselves after a while. I mean, really screwing up. Many games at a time, and I'm sure it'll happen eventually, and they're going to learn from it. I still think that they have a lot of that learning to come. So if you're looking for F-ups, just wait. Wait until 3 or 4 games happen at once. One currency isn't working, the other games are the servers are down, and the third game they're having this problem. It's going to be hell. So are you going to judge Gala Games, or are you going to judge the game developers? Because I would think that Spider Tanks, I would hope that Spider Tanks are running their own game. I would think that Gala Games really isn't telling Spider Tanks what to do.
Well, I would hope not, because I mean, let Spider Tanks do what Spider Tanks is going to do. Because they've put out a first playable test thing. I think it's fantastic.
It's much more
So I'd
finished than
hope,
Townstar was when I first started with Townstar.
yeah. So I hope that Gala is learning from the developers and sharing that information back Gala's way, so that they can maybe learn a little bit more about how these other studios have gotten a very polished game out as quickly as they have. Um, let's hope. And I understand there's going to be glitches, but not every time with everything.
Answer for Gala Node Guide here. He says, how long has Spider Tanks been in development? As far as I'm aware of, it's been in development for the last 5 years, and it did start before Townstar. I believe they had to retrofit the game to work with the blockchain. You can keep going, Titan. Didn't mean to interrupt.
I forgot where I was now.
Sounded like you were agreeing with me, but okay.
Yeah, I agree with you on occasion. And while I rely on a lot of your expertise in this gaming side, I look at it from the business side and from the money side, because that's why I'm here. I wouldn't play something if I absolutely hated it, which is why I don't buy legacy items. I don't buy superior items. I have absolutely zero interest in playing those. I was a SimCity guy for, back when there was floppy disks. I would play that, and Roller Coaster Tycoon and all those. Like, I love builders, so I'm very familiar with Townstar. I do enjoy playing those. I'm not a big fan of Townstar. If it wasn't for the earnings, I wouldn't be playing at all. It wouldn't excite me. And to kind of come back around to what you said earlier, you made mention, these, like Spider Tanks and everything, they have experience, and they have, these other games, and they've been doing this longer, and Gala Games is so new. Well, guess what? Shiremeyer was a head guy for Farmville. This does not look like Farmville. Have you seen Farmville? Farmville is way better than this.
I thought Townstar is more complicated than Farmville. I haven't played it.
No, it's not. And graphic wise and everything else, this is. And granted, I'll give you that bone you threw out there about building from scratch. Well, yeah, but it's been, I think, okay. And again, I'm not a developer, okay, but as just somebody who is looking at this, saying they have a huge Townstar team. There's 350 employees, and you've said yourself, and you've seen it on Gala, most of their employees are developers. And if this is the best they can do after a year and a half of development, that's concerning to me a little bit, because
that's where I think that's where I think you might need some realism. When I've worked on websites, I've worked on them for more than a year before they come out. These guys are putting out multiple games in a year. They're putting out a lot of complicated stuff. So I want to adjust your expectations just a little bit. They're not going to have everything done in 1 year. All the stuff that they're promising right now is not going to be done in a year. Mirandus is not going to be done in a year. However, I do expect some playability. I expect some sort of play with Mirandus, maybe a level, or maybe more play tests. I don't expect radio silence.
No, and I don't either. I understand how complicated that game is, but we're not talking about that game. We're talking about Townstar. And with how many people they have on the Townstar side, I would expect this game to be in better condition by this point.
Well, that's
than
the
it
question.
is.
How many people are on the Townstar side? Because I don't know that. I thought it was just a couple developers.
No, they have quite a team. I can't remember the exact number. I think Carrie was telling us about that when she came on. But I was kind of, I remember being surprised when she said that. We'll have to go back and revisit what she said. But there's more than a handful of people out of that 350 or 400 probably by now that they got working over there. And there have been improvements. I don't want to minimize that. Okay. There have been new features added. Don't want to minimize that. However, it's the same thing that it was in November, just with more glitches. I mean, this is no different than what I was playing in November. And November, December, January, February, March, April, May, we're 6 months further. And we have no major integrations. We have no major upgrades. We have no new NFTs. We have... see what I mean?
This is where I start talking about when you start stacking like that. I would like to see something written down and comparisons being made. One of the problems I have with Gala Games is their messaging. They should certainly be trumpeting what they do in a different way than they're doing now. They do put out a fair amount of little announcements on their Discord, but to be honest, it's easy to get lost in all that. I've bought a number of games online where they have fandoms and they keep track of all their promises and what they're doing. And somebody mentioned Star Citizen here. I like to mention Star Citizen because they do a very good job of tracking what they promised and how far along they are. I'd love to see that with Gala Games. Because without that, then you have people just saying, you know what, I feel like Townstar's been messing up more, and oh my God, this is wrong, and that's wrong, and this wrong. My retort every time is going to be, prove it. Show me. And then all of a sudden that argument breaks down. I really like it when if somebody kept a spreadsheet of problems that kept going with Townstar. To that end, on the CryptoFaz Academy, Old Man Smithers has a Thune list, which at least keeps track of some promises. I'd say some because I guarantee that's not a comprehensive list. And yes, you need to be a senior student in order to see that list, and to be a senior student, you need to participate in our Discord. But so at least that's an attempt. But I'd really like to see Gala Games themselves start showing their work a bit more. Not announcing it in announcements that are hard to keep track of, but rather have I'd love to see a quarterly report. You know, we have done this, and this. Our reliability is up this percentage. We have put out these features. That would totally torpedo everything you're saying. But without that, then you have a perception that can't be discounted. Okay, so, maybe they are, but what can you use to say that it's worse?
Did you notice that they just put out the second release notes? There's on YouTube. They have
that?
Yeah, they we talked about that with Carrie and suggested that with Carrie. You brought that to her attention. And I think they did that for what's that new game they just came out with?
Town Crush?
Candy Crush one. Yeah. They just put out a YouTube video for the dev notes on that. So they're taking your suggestion to heart on that, and that was the second one. They did another one not too long ago too. So they are slowly, I think, moving in that direction.
Okay. But it's important to remember how development houses working. are working. You can see that they're doing something. They're just moving slower than you like. I guarantee that every gamer out there, and likely every investor out there, is unhappy with the speed of their most of them are unhappy with the speed of their project or their favorite game, how it's going. I mean, pick a game. As soon as you find a bug, people start getting really antsy about why isn't this bug solved.
Okay, so you bring up a great point, and this is what I've talked about, not only with the economic aspects, but what we talked about just earlier. I don't care if they're slow, but it has to be right. If they're going to be slow, they need to make it right. If they're going to be fast and break things, I'll expect more things to break. But they're being slow and breaking things. That's not the combination we want to see here.
Well,
that's why I'm aggravated.
I think if they were better with their messaging, they would even have you happy with how slow they're being as well. If they can constantly show you, if they can show you that work is constantly being done, and that town crush, those town crush videos are a great example. The fact that that guy is putting stuff out every day, every other day, every week. The fact that they're going to be giving dev notes repeatedly about that's awesome.
Well, let's not bring the cart before the horse. Now, that popped up, and I'm happy to see that, but Gala has done things like that, like the reason we have a Thune list, because they'll say they're going to do these things, and then they never keep up with it.
Well,
so I want to see...
It's disorganized, and this is what I'm mentioning, is there's a certain level of disorganization that really they need to clean up and message a lot better. They're showing how disorganized they are, and I think they're a typical situation where you have a company with a lot of talent and a lot of ideas and a lot of resources, but they're still getting it together. That says to me opportunity. This is the best time to put money into Gala NFTs. Is now when they're still getting it together, because once they got it together, they're going to be kicking ass and taking names. So, in short, it's early. TLDR.
Yeah, well, to a point. Again, they've got to balance, in my opinion, they've got to balance better the cost of those NFTs to the community with the reward that they're given. And if they want
take time.
No, and again, I'll say it for the 400th time. People are sick of me saying this. If they want to pay out less, that's fine, but then that buff needs to be worth it so that you can earn more somewhere else. The net earning is what people are looking at when they're going to spend $2,500 on an NFT. Charge me $2,500, but reality, again. Take the dreaming and the gaming and the vision and this and that out of it. It boils down to ROI. If I go to OpenSea right now, I did this last week. The typical ROI on these prices on way.
Amazing how consistent that ROI is, despite them saying that they don't pay attention to that. That was just a poke, actually. Remember, the market has something to do with that as well. Remember, everybody else in the market pays attention to that ROI. And if the market sees that something is going to pay off in 30 days, they're going to be more willing to put money toward it. It just happens to be around 400 days is when the market starts not caring, and that's where it drops off. I don't think that Gala is managing that half as much as you think. But it's kind of amusing how they don't care about ROI, yet when they price new NFTs, it seems to reflect that ROI.
Yeah, and that's my point. Okay, I'm not going to spend $2,500 on something that's going to take me 450 to 600 days to ROI on. That's 2 to 3 years, right? Not happening. So if they make it reasonable to where, and I understand economic conditions, and I don't expect them to manage token price or anything like that, but put out your NFT where I have a 4 to 6 month ROI, realistic and reasonable. I will buy that $2,500 NFT all day long if I'm going to play that game. Okay. But that's the thing is like they pulled those Town Star ones. Those were like 700-day ROIs. And they're like, yeah, these aren't selling. Well, no shit. No one's going to spend the money on that. So that's where their balance has to come in on that side of it, I think. And I think they'll see people starting to adopt that again if they can get back to that balance on that side.
Punjab makes a good point. Most of the stuff we're waiting on is due to the blockchain that they're building. That's true. Spider Tanks was going to be delayed a lot more, and they decided to not use that blockchain. And so now they can get the game out sooner. It might just be that in order that they're starting to move Townstar over to this, and maybe their season 2 NFTs are going to be using that blockchain. Unfortunately, we don't know because they're not that transparent on that kind of thing. We should really get into, speaking of that blockchain, we should probably talk a little bit more about how that blockchain is going to be managed, because from my understanding is that Gala blockchain is going to be private. And also they want to have things aren't being awarded right away. And I suspect that they're wanting to do some things with their blockchain that you can't do with regular blockchains. I get a sense that transaction reversal might be a desire of theirs.
Yeah, so let me phrase this very carefully so that you don't jump down my throat when I say it. The private and proprietary part of it really bothers me because, again, they pound their fist on the desk and say decentralized, decentralized, decentralized. Then they come out with private, proprietary. Now, I get it. Everything will start out centralized and eventually go away. Well, but no, not with a blockchain. If you build a blockchain that's proprietary and private, there's a reason that they're doing that. They could jump on Cardano, blockchain and build out whatever they want and have plenty of scalability on it and be a public blockchain. But they chose not to. And it's way harder to make a blockchain public when it's private than it is when a blockchain is public to make it private.
Well, I don't think that they're going to make it public. I think what they're really advertising is that those NFTs are yours. And whenever you move them over to Ethereum or some other blockchain besides theirs, they will be yours. But in the meantime, they have to manage what they have. All the companies, Spider Tanks, their game is centralized right now. They're going to be running their games themselves. EOE is probably going to be the same way. And you're going to have some aspect of these things that are centralized. It's a good goal. I recall Benefactor saying it's a goal to be able to make the games decentralized, but not going to happen anytime soon, if I recall.
No, so the games will always be centralized. Those will never be decentralized, and that's straight out of Bitbender's communication.
Good.
All right. The node ecosystem is what's supposed to be the decentralized part. That's the only decentralized part that they have, and we know right now that's not even decentralized because we have no say in the node network. We don't have physical nodes. We have software nodes which are owned by them and can be taken back at any time for any reason, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I was trying to phrase this carefully. With this new blockchain, they will have the ability, and it's been alluded to in communication, not said directly, but alluded to, that you will be able to transact out of your treasure chest. And that's going to create a huge problem if it's a private blockchain for taxes and calculating how that's all going to work as well.
Wait a minute. Punjab is saying Gala chain is said not to be private. I could swear that I read somewhere Okay, then they have bad messaging on that because I've seen it to where they said that it was going to be private.
Yeah, I sent you the link.
Okay,
Their blog says it's going to be
so
private.
maybe their messaging needs to be improved to say it will be private for a period of time. Who knows? That again, I keep hitting on my one beef with Gala is their messaging, is getting their ducks in a row. And it causes, what they're doing right now causes confusion. A lot of people have valid reasons to say what they're saying, and I can see what's going on. I try to, that's why I try to correct you sometimes, and I can't completely correct you because you're like, they're saying this. And then sometimes it turns out to be some employees got something wrong. Or, they have too many people spouting the party line without gating their answers. Gating means, everybody needs to check in to find out what's been promised and so on. I wish they would be a lot more transparent about how they keep track of that stuff to put people at ease. I think it would put people at ease to realize that they're on top of their promises and they're on top of their schedule and so on. But what we get a lot of is, hold on, just wait and see.
Or the marketing speak, which is terrible.
Yeah, and that's a whole other language which people are not dialing into. We understand it just fine when it's from Burger King. If Burger King says there's going to be a new burger out, we don't expect to see it. And when it doesn't show up, we expect to see it when it's out there. We're like, oh, the burger was not out yet. Okay. Try saying that with a feature, with Townstar. Oh my God, people lose their shit. What? It was supposed to be out last week and it got postponed? What the fuck?
Okay, so I understand about glitches happening and everything else, but again, if they are just going to communicate that well, okay, like with this competition, right? When at the beginning, when people kept getting those rollbacks and the Ledger of Truth wasn't working and everything else, why not just stop what you're doing and say we're gonna halt this for like a week and we're gonna start it again next week.
They did that.
Days to work on it.
They've had these problems before and they've done that.
All right, so and again, explain it. Hey, we pushed an update and it broke these three things, and we have our team working on it 24/7. We might be able to get up a little bit sooner. We want it to be right for this competition. Or if they weren't prepared for May Mayhem, they could have done July Mayhem. But it's right, and it works out of the box, and there's no problems, no issues.
Well, that's not going to happen. I don't know of a software house that has no issues whatsoever when they put out a website. It's even a joke. Version 1.0 sucks. In fact, it's even a joke. The any 0.0 version, 2.0 or 2.1, it has to have some subversions behind it. 2.11437, that's the good one, because 2.1 sucked, 2.12 sucked, 2.23 sucked. So that's just part of software development. Maybe you've forgotten how often Windows actually updates itself, but it used to be that Windows created huge problems with some of their updates. And they got through it. I'm sure that everybody will get through any changes to Townstar. I'm 100% positive. They're providing a fairly good product, and they've got a good path. So I just plan to roll with the punches personally. There's a lot I don't know, so I try not to comment too much about. I try not to be too pissy about things because I don't know all their challenges. To that end, we should probably start wrapping up. We've been going on for about an hour now, and I think we're starting to run out of steam.
All right. Where do you want to go from here?
I don't know. Does anybody have anybody in chat have any last things to say before we cut out?
Oh, Gallon Node Guide. Oh boy, yeah, that's a big can of worms. We'll go for another hour talking about the oh by the ways they come up with halfway through.
Stuff happens.
We'll save that. Yeah, we'll save that for another Faz Radio episode because I got a lot to say about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming by. I'm planning to play Spider Tanks tonight, and I'll probably get my butt kicked like I do every other night. You want to play later, Titan?
Yeah, I'll play some more tonight. Sure.
Oh, great. Let's kick these guys off so we can get our computer back and play some Spider Tank then.
Thanks for listening tonight.
Okay, thanks, guys. We're going to get out of here. Bye-bye.